Welcome to today's magical story, Cinderella, the tale of a kind heart and magic. Get ready to dive into the enchanting world of Cinderella, a story about kindness, courage, and the power of dreams. Stay tuned as we follow her journey from humble beginnings to magical moments. Grab your popcorn and enjoy the show. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a kind and beautiful girl named Cinderella. She had soft golden hair that shimmered in the sunlight and eyes as blue as the clearest sky. Cinderella lived with her stepmother and two stepsisters after her father had passed away. Her stepmother was cold-hearted and made Cinderella do all the housework, from scrubbing the floors to tending to the garden. Despite her hard life, Cinderella always had a smile on her face, never losing hope or her kindness. Every day, while her stepsisters wore fine dresses and lounged about, Cinderella would wear her tattered clothes and work tirelessly from dawn until dusk. The stepmother and stepsisters mocked her, calling her names and treating her cruelly. But Cinderella never complained. Instead, she found joy in the little things, the songs of the birds, the blooming flowers, and the warm sunlight that poured through her small window. One day, a grand announcement was made across the kingdom. The king was hosting a grand ball in honor of the prince, who was seeking a bride. Every maiden in the land was invited, including Cinderella's stepsisters. The excitement was contagious, and the whole household buzzed with preparations. Cinderella's heart leaped with joy at the thought of attending, but her stepmother quickly crushed her hopes. "You," the stepmother sneered, "you're not fit to attend such a royal event. Who would look at you in those rags?" Cinderella's stepsisters giggled in agreement, taunting her as they tried on their new dresses. Though her heart ached, Cinderella continued to help her stepsisters get ready, determined to stay kind even in the face of cruelty. The night of the ball arrived, and as her stepmother and stepsisters left in their glittering gowns, Cinderella was left behind, her heart heavy with sadness. She ran to the garden and sat by the fountain, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I only wanted to go," she whispered, "just for one night, to feel like I belong." At that moment, the garden began to shimmer with light. Cinderella looked up, and to her amazement, a glowing figure appeared before her. It was her fairy godmother, a kind woman with sparkling eyes and a warm smile. "Don't cry, dear child," the fairy godmother said softly. "You shall go to the ball." With a wave of her wand, the fairy godmother transformed a pumpkin into a grand carriage, 6 mice into elegant white horses, and a rat into a coachman. She then looked at Cinderella and, with another wave of her wand, her ragged dress was replaced with a stunning gown of shimmering silver and glass slippers that sparkled like diamonds. "Now off you go," the fairy godmother said. "But remember, the magic will only last until midnight. You must return before the clock strikes 12. Cinderella could hardly believe her eyes. Overwhelmed with gratitude, she climbed into the carriage and was whisked away to the palace. When Cinderella arrived at the ball, all eyes turned toward her. She was the most beautiful maiden anyone had ever seen. Even her stepsisters didn't recognize her as she glided across the floor, her gown shimmering under the candlelight. The prince, captivated by her beauty and grace, immediately asked her to dance. As they danced, Cinderella felt as if she were in a dream. The prince and Cinderella spent the entire evening together, laughing and talking as if they had known each other forever. But as the night wore on, the clock began to strike midnight. Cinderella gasped, realizing she had to leave before the magic disappeared. "I must go," she whispered, rushing away from the prince's arms. "Wait," the prince called after her. "I don't even know your name." But Cinderella didn't stop. She dashed down the grand staircase, one of her glass slippers slipping off her foot as she ran. She didn't have time to go back for it. Just as she reached her carriage, the clock struck 12, and the magic disappeared. Her beautiful gown turned back into rags, the carriage into a pumpkin, and the horses into mice. Cinderella, now dressed in her old clothes, ran back to her house, holding on to the memory of the magical night. The next morning, the entire kingdom was abuzz with news. The prince had found the glass slipper and declared that he would marry the maiden whose foot fit the slipper. He sent his royal guards to every home in the kingdom, searching for the mysterious girl from the ball. When the guards arrived at Cinderella's home, her stepsisters tried to squeeze their feet into the delicate slipper, but it was no use. The slipper was far too small for them. Just as they were about to leave, Cinderella gathered her courage and stepped forward. "May I try?" she asked softly. Her stepsisters laughed, but the guard nodded. As Cinderella slipped her foot into the glass slipper, it fit perfectly. The guards immediately recognized her as the mysterious girl from the ball, and they escorted her to the palace. The prince, overjoyed to see her again, took Cinderella's hand and asked her to be his bride. With tears of happiness in her eyes, Cinderella agreed. They were married in a grand celebration, and Cinderella's kind heart and gentle spirit won over the entire kingdom. As for her stepmother and stepsisters, they were left to reflect on their cruel behavior, while Cinderella lived happily ever after, proving that kindness, courage, and a little bit of magic can truly make dreams come true. Thank you for watching this magical journey of Cinderella. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more enchanting tales.